Hey guys, let us get more news about Miami Heat, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Erik Spoelstra says these are must-wins for the Heat after another costly loss. In a crucial matchup with the Golden State Warriors, the Miami Heat were dealt with a blow as it was revealed Jimmy Butler was ruled out due to an illness. Miami pulled out all their tricks defensively to keep the game close with a mix of zone and full-court pressure, but the lack of scoring caught up to them and were ultimately overwhelmed by the Warriors, losing 113-92 Tuesday night at the Kaseya Center. Heat Nation knows Erik Spoelstra and the Heat work in the no-excuse business. But any team missing its two best shooters and its leading scorer will struggle offensively. Outside of Bam Adebayo and Terry Rozier, few players were a threat to get a shot on their own or create offense consistently to make the Warriors' defense adjust. In the second quarter, Miami had a lineup of DeLon Wright, Jamie Jaquez Jr., Haywood Highsmith, Caleb Martin and Thomas Bryant. The lack of spacing was alarming, but Spoelstra's creative defensive schemes kept the game close, and the Heat actually built a lead with Adebayo and Highsmith as the two main catalysts. It had a chance to be one of those games that are really gratifying where you win, where it's in the mud, ugly, with some really inspiring defensive plays, Spoelstra said. The Heat played their style of basketball in the first half. But in the second half, Miami's offensive woes began to bleed into their defense. A major adjustment Steve Kerr made was using Andrew Wiggins' length to limit Rozier. Wiggins did an impressive job defending Rozier and caused the Heat's offense to rely heavily on Adebayo. Adebayo did the best he could and scored 24 points while hitting another three, but the lack of threats around him kept Miami's offense in a rut. As March winds down, the Heat find themselves staring at another play-in tournament berth. The same spot they were in a year ago, in which they were nearly eliminated. But unlike last season, Spoelstra and the coaching staff had a good idea of who was going to be in the playoff rotation and what lineups would work best. The Heat had to use their 35th different starting lineup of the season on Tuesday. Though he won't admit it, it has to be difficult for Spoelstra to cobble together rotations and decide which players will close in tight games. It's unclear if the Heat will ever be close to full strength. But with 10 games left, hopefully, Miami can get most of their bodies back and find some momentum going into April. They knew what it was about, we knew what it was about, Spoelstra said. These are must-wins for both teams going down the stretch and they were able to get the job done tonight. Miami's Jimmy Butler ruled out of Heat Warriors game with illness. Jimmy Butler was ruled out of Miami's game against Golden State on Tuesday night, one that comes with the Heat trying to escape the play-in tournament in the Eastern Conference. It was the 22nd time in 72 games this season that Miami played without Butler, who missed the team's morning shoot-around with a non-COVID illness. He was later listed as questionable, then downgraded to out about 2 hours before game time. He's sick, Heat coach Erik Spoelstra said. Doesn't feel well at all today. Miami doesn't play again until hosting Portland on Friday. Butler is Miami's leading scorer at 21.4 points per game. The Heat were also without Tyler Herro, their number 2 scorer at 20.8 points per game. Herro has missed 16 consecutive games, including Tuesday, first with a knee issue and then a foot problem. Miami was also without Kevin Love for the 14th consecutive game while he recovers from a sore heel. Duncan Robinson, the team's leading three-point shooter, was out for the 4th straight game with a back problem. For Golden State, forward Tracy Jackson-Davis was ruled out with right knee soreness. Warriors coach Steve Kerr said he was hopeful Jackson-Davis would be available for Wednesday's game at Orlando. Heat's Tyler Herro clarifies injury status, timetable amid lengthy absence. Miami Heat guard Tyler Herro hasn't played since February 23, but he clapped back at a report saying that no one knows when he'll be back. Shams Charania of The Athletic said that Herro's status was a concern with the Heat, but the Miami guard said that wasn't true. Herro used an emoji to say that was cap, which is slang for lying. The fifth-year Heat guard did have a strong workout Wednesday while the rest of the team was off, but the reality remains that after taking a platelet-rich plasma injection for the medial tendinitis in his right foot in mid-March, the plan was a week off, followed by a 2-week ramp-up. Such a timetable would make late next week the earliest time frame for a return. Herro has missed the past 16 games after exiting the late February matchup with the Pelicans with a knee injury. The Heat guard has only managed to play in 36 games this season. Herro sustained a grade 2 right ankle sprain when Miami took on the Memphis Grizzlies on November 8 after taking a fall and landing on Jaren Jackson Jr. awkwardly. That injury caused him to miss 5 weeks of action. There is no doubt that the slew of injuries Herro has dealt with have been a weird situation to say the least, as he is averaging 20.8 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 4.4 assists per game for the Heat while shooting 43.7% from the field. First, he was labeled with a hyperextended knee, which since has cleared up, but now the issue seems to be a nagging foot problem. Specifically labeled as right foot medial tendinitis, it was reported that he has received a platelet-rich plasma injection and is set to miss at least 1 to 2 weeks more, which then he will be evaluated about his status. Heat head coach Erik Spoelstra was hopeful that Herro would return before the end of the regular season. "That's the hope," Spoelstra said of Herro. "And he's been making progress, and we'll treat him day to day, keep on making progress. Again, his body will let us know. If there is something the Heat and fans don't want to see, it is a repeat of last season where Herro missed most of the postseason with a broken hand, even though Miami made it to the NBA Finals." The Heat are currently 39-33 and in 7th place in the NBA Eastern Conference standings. Things seem eerily similar to last season when Miami struggled to get to the postseason before going on one of the most epic postseason runs that the NBA has ever seen. Hopefully, the team can do so again. This time with Herro in tow. Evan Mobley was back in Cleveland's starting lineup on Sunday night, after missing 9 games with a sprained left ankle. It was a sign of at least some progress on the injury front for the Cavaliers, who were in Miami to play the short-handed Heat without Donovan Mitchell, nasal fracture, Max Strus, right knee, and Dean Wade, right knee. Miami was without Tyler Herro, Kevin Love, Duncan Robinson and rookie Jamie Jaquez Jr., players who have combined to make 91 starts this season. The Cavaliers went 3-6 in the games that Mobley, the team's only 7-footer, missed with the ankle issue. He's been out for 32 of Cleveland's 71 games this season. Left knee surgery caused Mobley to miss 23 games in December and January. Obviously, when you go as long as he's gone without playing games, you need to get up to NBA speed, Cavaliers coach J.B. Bickerstaff said. Evan, fortunately enough, that happens pretty quickly for him because of his IQ, his understanding of just where to be on the floor and kind of who he is, the selfless nature that he plays the game with. And you, fan, what do you think about the situation of Tyler Herro? Leave your opinion in the comments.